Hi everyone, Summer here with AstariaSen, and today I am doing a collab with V, Love, and Crystals. Please look for a link up here for her video. We are doing a collaboration of our fairy decks. Um, so about fairy decks, if you are just joining me, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you here on my channel. I talk about fairies, I talk about tarot, I talk about crafting because I'm a crafter. I do book reviews on pagan related stuff, fairy related stuff, tarot related stuff. I just do a lot with fae and tarot and pagan. So if that's what you enjoy, please subscribe. I'm pretty sure I can entertain you, maybe just a little bit. If not, that's okay too. We just do what we can do, right? And we enjoy what we enjoy. So anyways, if you are coming back, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate your views and your comments, and you guys are so sweet. So I have a confession for my fairy decks. I'm not going to show them all to you. I have a lot of fairy decks, More than half of my collection is fairy or fae. That shouldn't surprise anybody who's been following me for a while. Not really, anyways. So let me put it to you this way. I have 29 fae decks, 29, and I am regularly seeking more because I want to own as many fae decks as I can. Because I like fae and I enjoy working with the fae tarot and fae oracle decks. I just find them amusing and fun and entertaining and just uplifting spiritual for me. It's just something that really makes me happy and causes a lot of joy. So what I'm going to share with you is information about my fairy decks or my fae decks. I'm going to do a later video that tells you everything, absolutely everything. But for this specifically, for the collab with V, Love, and Crystals, I am just going to tell you details about my decks and then show you a couple of my absolute favorites. All right. So what I could tell you, I have 29 fae decks. 14 of them are oracle, 15 are tarot. Surprising, because actually I like tarot more, but I only have one more tarot than I have oracle. How did that happen? I think I know how it happened. I'm pretty sure that fairy often end up being oracles rather than tarot, so I end up with a lot of oracles because of that. Then I can tell you that 19 of the 29 are very fairy specific, like they are fairy. The rest of them, the other 10, are fae with fairy included. So it could be dragons or fantastical creatures or mermaids or whatever. I consider it all fae because fae is my umbrella term, or what I consider an umbrella term for all creatures under the fae term. So mermaids would be under fae, fairies would be under fae, dragons would be under fae, gnomes would be under fae. Any kind of mystical type creature like that would be under fae for me, because I like fae as the umbrella term, kind of like pagan is the umbrella term. But Wicca and Buddhism and all of that other stuff fall under pagan. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about some of my favorites. I'm going to start out with my favorite indie fae deck. And it's one of my more recent purchases. And I will put a link up here somewhere to a video showing you more about it. It is the Primrose and Prose deck. I really like the art in this deck, and it has this aura about it. But the lady's art, is amazing. Look at this. She does fantastic work, and I just enjoy her take on this oracle. It's so, I don't know, it's kind of like, when I look at it, it's like this cute, magical, mystical element that is in all of the cards that just draws me in. And it's very fae. It has a lot of fae energy. It's very based in a fae realm, like totally in a fae realm. And the aura about it, the aura that it has really gives that take too. And this was an indie deck that I recently purchased, and an indie fae oracle that I recently purchased. She has a tarot deck too, but I want. So there's that one. All right, and then I will tell you about the most recent fairy deck I own, which I got recently, and that is the Fae Tarot. I actually have not done a reading with this deck. I actually haven't done a walkthrough yet either, but that's coming. But I know this is an older deck. Some people might already have it. But I really like this deck so far. Like, here's the backs of the cards. Okay. And these cards are interesting. Like, it's not quite what I was expecting. So I'll just show you some of the Fae cards. Here's the Emperor as Faerie. It just has so much in it. Oh, here's the Chariot. It's got so many wonderful, wonderful aspects to it that just draws me in. It has energy about it. Like the way the art is, it has energy about it that just kind of like pulls me into this other world and this other frame of mind. And it's entertaining. It's not, you know, horrific or bland or bleak or anything like that. It has this very upbeat, it's not really upbeat, but it has like the brighter colors, which give you a more positive feeling about them. Look at this guy. This is the devil. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, I mean, he's not exactly Fae, but Faerie, but that's okay. The other one I wanted to show you was, look at that ace. The aces are fantastic, by the way. And where is it? There's one that is my favorite. Give me just a second and I can find my favorite from this deck. Here he is. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's like a gnome mixed with a fairy. Look at that. It's fantastic. I love it. So yeah, so this deck, I'm very interested in doing some readings with this deck and learning more about it and maybe doing an interview with it to see, you know, what temperament it might have, you know, those kinds of things. But this is the most recent one I got. And I will leave links to as many of them as I can in the description in case you want to get your hands on them. And then I have one of the, I did read with this one. This is called the Faery Tarot. Okay. And it is one of my newer ones, but it's got like hearts and acorns and stuff like that in it. So it doesn't have like the basic, wands, cups and stuff like that. It's changed a little bit, but this is a snarky, fun little deck. I cannot keep it in a box because the box keeps popping open. I am not kidding you. Every time I stick it in this fairy box, right here, it will not stay down. This part right here, no matter what, if these cards are in it, will not stay down. They keep popping open and they keep trying to jump out of the box, believe it or not. So they are in a bag. I have them in a bag right now, which they have jumped out of twice since I put them in the bag, but I have to have them in something because otherwise they're just kind of flowing all over the place. And this deck is so picky. It is so, so picky. It doesn't work with just any spread either. I have to do specific spreads with this deck, which I can talk about at another time because I don't want this to take forever. But basically this deck right here, I had it way back. Like I got this deck, I don't know, maybe I got it maybe back in like last March or something. And I actually traded it in because I couldn't read with it because no matter what I tried, it would not read well for me. And I was like, okay, maybe I just don't understand the cards or something like that. And so then I just got it again, actually last month, and started, you know, really paying more attention to what it liked. I mean, these cards are fun cards. They're in your face. I mean, they can be a little bit in your face and a little bit snarky, a little sassy. But they're also very playful. These are one of the most playful decks that I own in the Fae realm. Like, they are just so unique and so creative and so inspiring. And look at that hermit. Can you believe that? Isn't that the greatest hermit ever? So yeah, this is just a really fun deck, but know that it's not, it doesn't just like anything. The Fae energy in this deck is very fun, very uplifting, very, I'm going to laugh at you, I'm going to toy with you, and I'm going to play tricks. So unless you do it my way, you're going to have a little trick played on you. It's like like if I had to name this deck, I would name it Puka. I really would, because it's that tricky and has that kind of energy about it, like a buzzing kind of energy. Like even now, it's like a buzzing kind of energy in my hand. But I really do like this deck. I have read with it for a couple of times. It just doesn't read like other decks do for me. All right, and then I have, which one? Oh, yeah. Okay, so Paulina did a Fairy Guidance Oracle. And I love these cards because they are very, very positive. And sometimes in a world where positivity isn't quite there for you, these cards give you that in just any reading that you do. And I love that about these cards. Like, there have been days when I have just been having the worst days, and all I have to do is pull one of these cards and my heart, my spirit is uplifted. So these are some of the cards in the Paulina Fairy deck. And they're oracles, so they have the wording down here. She does have a book with it that's really good too. So I'll just show you some of the fairy cards in this one because they are so pretty, and it's watercolor. I really like watercolor decks. I've found that I'm a huge fan of watercolor styles. Oh, that one's upside down, but you know, it's okay. Let's go this way. Ha! I got it. But yeah, the artwork is very pretty. I enjoy this. I enjoy this. Be open to a world of endless possibilities. All right, so yes, the Paulina deck is also a Fairy Guidance deck is one of my faves, my all-time faves, and I like doing readings with this. I actually do readings with the Primrose one, that one, and one other deck I'm getting ready to show you weekly every Saturday. And it's a Fae Guidance reading. So, and I do a 5-card spread, and it's just a beautiful. They work so well together. They do. They work beautifully together. So the other deck that I use with those two, with the Primrose, the Aura ones, and the Fairy Guidance one, is the Crystal Visions Tarot. That's what it is. Crystal Visions Tarot. And this is a very Fae deck too. It has a lot of fairy energy. I like the colorings in it. I like the feel of it. Like it feels like one of those decks that would be really good to read with for love, for relationships. It feels very relationship orientated, and it doesn't just have Fae in it. It's fairy. It's a Fae deck for me, and I love the backs of these cards. Look at the backs of these cards. Aren't they stunning? Let me see if I can find one of my favorite decks or favorite ones in this deck. Let's see. Here's the Hermit in this one. It's not my all-time favorite, but it is up there with my favorites. And look at that fairy. Isn't she so pretty? I mean, this deck is just stunning, and it has so much to offer, and it reads beautifully. It reads like a dream for me, and it gives me that spark of energy. Oh, it also has an extra card in it called the Unknown card, which I really like. Isn't that pretty? It's very gypsy, very kind of witchy kind of thing, which is kind of cool, you know? Here's the Star card. I love the Star card in most of my fairy decks. Isn't she pretty? But yeah, so I really, really like the Crystal Visions Tarot too. And all three of these, the Crystal Visions, the Fairy Guidance, and the Primrose and Prose Oracle all work really well, beautifully together. They work so well together. And not all fairy decks work well together. There's this other fairy deck, the one I just got done showing you, the one that's a little bit snarky and picky, doesn't like working with other decks so well. It likes being by itself and just doing its thing, and you know, those kinds of things. So creative wise, I also do a weekly creative reading, and right now we are working with the Chrysalis Tarot, which is Fae based. It has fairy cards in it. These are the backs. Aren't they pretty? I love the butterflies in them. But this is my favorite card in the entire deck. It's the reason why I bought this deck. Look at that card, the World. How gorgeous is that? That just inspired me so much. And I thought, oh my goodness, as a creator, as an artist, this deck will be so inspiring. And so I use it for my inspiration, and I use it for my creative readings I do every Sunday. And it's a phenomenal deck. This deck has done so well with my creative readings that it's unreal. I couldn't believe how well it did. Look at the fairies in those ones. Aren't they adorable? Oh my goodness. I just like these. They even have like a little hobbit home, a little fairy house. Hobbit home, fairy house. I'm not sure what you'd like to call it, but I mean, the artwork and the way that this deck is put together is just stunning and very nature-based. It has a lot of nature in it. Most Fae decks do have a lot of nature in them, I'm not gonna lie, but this one seems, it feels that you could feel the nature in it, like I can anyways. Like it feels good, it feels nature, it feels balanced and grounded, even though it's very open and out there. So here's another one that is so pretty and so sweet. Isn't that just gorgeous? Oh my goodness. So yes, the Chrysalis Tarot that I use weekly as well. There are so many fairy decks that I really, really enjoy. There are so many. And then there is the Fairy Lights Tarot, which is my other favorite. I really enjoy reading with this one for other people because it has a very unique take on it. Anybody who knows the Fairy Lights Tarot knows that the artist created a picture, then basically cut that picture in half, and maybe the picture is a major arcana and the other side of the picture is another card that's not even major arcana. It might be Nine of Swords with the devil or something like that. I mean, they just go together, and when you put them together, it's like a full picture for you. So if you do a 3-card spread, you should do a 6-card spread so that you're putting the pictures together. But the artwork in it is so stunning. This is one of my favorite cards. And I know it says Fairy Lights, but the fae in it is not like normal fae. Here's one of the fairies, but it's like an angel fairy for judgment. I do believe this one's judgment. Yeah, I think that one's judgment. They're hard for me to read with a little bit though. They have an aspect to them, like the artwork is a little difficult. Let me see if I can find an actual fairy one, because I think that's important, is to see the actual fairies in it. Oh, I like the Fool. Look at that Fool. Isn't that fantastic? I think that's fantastic. That Fool is fantastic. Okay, here is the Lovers, which is very fairy too. Isn't that just gorgeous? I like the difference in coloring, how there's a difference between like the dulls and then the colors just kind of pop out. So this deck is really fun to read with other people, and it's very kind of to the point. It's going to tell you how it is. It's a little bit gentle, but at the same time, it's like, no, you already know this. So I'm just going to put this out there for you because you already know it, but you're not willing to do something about it, or you're not doing the right thing about it. Or sometimes it even says you are doing the right thing about it. I've had it go all sorts of different directions, but I've had a lot of fun with it too. So, you know, it's just one of those things that I've enjoyed reading with. One of those decks I've really enjoyed reading with. All right, we're down to my last 2 decks. Now, these next 2 decks are probably my ultimate favorites. They are the ones that are more go-to for me. They're like everyday go-to, and that is Mystic Fairies. And this deck is all Fae. It is entirely Fae. Every single card in this deck is fairy base. All of it. And I love this deck. I do. Well, there's mermaid, but you know, it is all fairy. All of it. And I adore the art. I adore how the cards read. They're very good on a day-to-day basis. They're really good with problem solving. They're really good with money issues, relationship issues. This is a well-rounded, all-around kind of deck. The 4 suits in this deck each tell their own story and have a different thing that's going on with them. She created a story for each one of them. So this deck is absolutely fantastic. It is absolutely my go-to everyday kind of deck. This is the one I reach for consistently all the time. So there's that one. That's the Mystic Fairy Tarot. And then The other one that is a go-to for me, and I do soul card readings with it, which I will also put up there somewhere, is the indie deck, the Faerie Enchantment indie deck. And this one's all based off fairy goddesses and gods, okay? And the artwork in this deck is absolutely stunning. Like, you cannot get around it. It is so beautiful. But I can find your soul cards with this, and this is very magic based. It has like symbols on the back, runes on the back that are all different, okay? They're all different. And you can put those runes together to create a sigil. And then on the bottom down here, they have different like colors, gemstones, animals, stuff like that. And based off your soul cards, then those are the animals and gemstones and stuff like that that work best for you based off your birth sign, which is really, really interesting. So if you want to see something about that, I will leave a link up here in this to show you my last soul card reading so you can get involved in it. But the cards I wanted to show you are so, so stunning. They are so stunning, so pretty. They're fae based. They do have a lot of fairy in them. You can see some of her wing stuff. And they're very nature based, which is interesting. Isn't she gorgeous? Holy cow. The artwork. Oh my gosh, this is an indie deck. And it's from overseas because I live in the US. And it's just stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I can't get enough of this artwork. And I like the magical aspects. Like, you can create charms with the stuff on the back of the cards. You can create sigils. You can create candles. You can do all sorts of things, all sorts of magical things or spiritual things based off the stuff on the back of the cards, which is just, it's just phenomenal. This deck is phenomenal, like seriously phenomenal. I can't explain it any better than that. Like, really, it's great. I do love this deck. So I also did a review of it, which you can find on my channel, and maybe I'll put that down in the description if you want, instead of up here, because I'll be doing so much up here. So yeah, these decks are like my friends. These decks are my circle of people, my community when I read tarot and when I read tarot for other people. And they uplift my spirit, and they make me feel like I'm a part of something, somewhere I belong. And they give me such a spiritual feeling, like a really connected to something beyond, not even beyond reality, but just beyond right now, beyond right here, because I feel like they're timeless and they have a lot that go with them. And there's so much depth that goes with fairy decks and the fairy realm and stuff like that. And that just, it blows my mind. It seriously blows my mind. So yeah, these are my decks. I'd love to know what fairy decks you have down in the comments if you're willing to tell me. Or if you don't own any fairy decks, that's okay. Do you have a favorite of the ones that I showed you here? Feel free to tell me. Or if you just liked a particular card, let me know which card you liked. I enjoy getting to know people, and I want to connect with other people that enjoy fairy stuff too. So if you're out there, hi, I'm here. Leave me a comment. I'll come check out your channel, or, you know, we can get together some other way, maybe on Facebook or something like that, because I want those connections. And it's nice to be able to talk fairy with other people. And the fairy decks, it's nice to read with them. I enjoy reading with them, and I enjoy the artwork that's on them. And they're not all the same, and they don't read the same, and they have their own energy, and they have their own like persona that comes off of them. They come to life for me, and they read like they want to read. I can't force them to read a specific way. They just have their own energy, and they're like, no, I'm gonna do this. Which is fun and entertaining and keeps me on my toes as a tarot reader. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed telling you about it. I will be doing more videos about my fairy decks, like telling you. I want to do like a whole series. Well, it'd be like 2 parts. So I do like all of my fairy oracle decks. I'll show you all of those, which ones are my favorites and why, and then do my tarot, which ones are my favorites and why, and maybe even do the fairy decks that I refuse to buy. Yeah, because that might be a thing. Anyways, I have a lot of other fairy stuff, fairy books, fairy art, fairy figurines. I'm a fairy person. That's just who I am. So from one fae to another, hi. And I hope you guys have a very great week. Thank you so much for joining me on this very interesting little thing. I was kind of going out of the seat of my pants. So yeah, 29 fae decks. I'm pretty sure there'll be more. Shh.